I never thought I would write this, but the night I stumbled into the Red Room is the night my perception of the internet, of humanity itself, shattered forever. And before I dive into the details, let me introduce the characters who are part of the story, because without them the path that led me into that cursed hidden broadcast would make no sense. There's me, Daniel, a 23-year-old university student obsessed with the psychology of fear and addicted to late-night explorations of the dark web, convinced that most of the stories about it were exaggerated myths. Then there was my roommate Alex, a cynical computer science dropout who had a habit of poking around in forbidden corners of the internet and bragging about finding things others couldn't. Our classmate Sarah, who was quiet, bookish, and strangely fascinated with human behavior under stress, often quoting psychology experiments like the Stanford prison study. And finally Ethan, Sarah's older brother, a gamer who spent more time on conspiracy forums than in reality, warning us that the dark web wasn't just some spooky playground but a theater for real horror, a place where money, anonymity, and human cruelty converged. All of us in different ways got tangled into this journey, and the night it began Alex had shown us a link hidden inside a forum thread written in broken English. It was just a string of characters, meaningless unless you knew what to do, and of course Alex did, running it through Tor and a custom script. He had coded, and suddenly a new page opened. Not the usual black and green styled marketplace, but a crude landing screen with a blood-red background, text flashing. Tonight's Red Room session entry fee, 0.1 BTC, limited viewers, and even though my chest tightened and Sarah whispered that it was just some ARG, alternate reality game, meant to scare people, Ethan shook his head violently saying, "No, I've heard about this. This is real. This is what people pay to see. Don't click it." But Alex laughed and said if it was fake then we'd just waste some time. And if it was real then we'd be witnessing something that people on Reddit only whispered about. And as much as my rational mind screamed at me to stop, my obsession with the psychology of fear, the need to see the boundaries of human cruelty, overpowered me and I agreed to watch, promising myself it was research, nothing more. Alex bypassed the fee with some exploit and suddenly the screen shifted, grainy at first like an old CCTV feed, and then it sharpened, revealing a room painted in peeling white, fluorescent lights humming above. A single chair bolted to the center, leather straps dangling from its arms, and behind it a man in a black mask, his voice distorted electronically as he greeted the anonymous audience. "Welcome. Tonight you decide the fate," and a chat box opened on the side where usernames were already flooding in. People bidding cryptocurrency to control what would happen next, and when the camera panned to the side my stomach turned because strapped against the wall was a young woman, blindfolded, gagged, trembling violently as the masked man stroked her hair almost tenderly, saying, "Our subject tonight is called Lily, 22 years old, kidnapped 3 days ago." And at that moment every nerve in my body screamed to exit, to close the laptop, to smash the screen, but Sarah gripped my wrist and whispered with a quivering voice, "Don't. If you leave now you'll never know how far this goes." And I realized she was as enthralled and horrified as I was. The bidding began, command scrolling, cut her hair, break a finger, make her beg, and with every bid the masked man obeyed like a marionette of the crowd, and the screams, muffled by the gag, seemed to pierce into the deepest layer of my mind, each cry lodging itself into my memory like shrapnel, and Alex kept smirking, whispering, "See, it's all staged. The blood packs, the screams, it's theater." But Ethan shook his head, tears in his eyes. "No, this is real. This is the worst of humanity live-streamed." And I wanted so badly to believe Alex, but when the man pulled out pliers and slowly twisted one of Lily's fingernails until it ripped off, the blood spurting real, raw, not Hollywood red but deep and sickly, Sarah screamed into her hands, Alex finally went pale, and I felt my mind splitting, a battle between curiosity and revulsion, because I couldn't stop watching, I couldn't look away. It was like witnessing the most forbidden truth, that people, hidden by anonymity and money, would pay to see another human destroyed. The masked man kept speaking to the chat, taunting them, letting them vote on the next punishment, and the commands grew darker, more depraved, and somewhere in that chaos I felt my psyche unraveling, because I realized this wasn't about Lily anymore, it was about us, about me, about what kind of person keeps watching when morality demands they stop, about how anonymity doesn't just strip away accountability but strips away humanity itself. Sarah whispered that she couldn't breathe. Alex finally slammed the laptop shut, But the sound of Lily's screams, the distortion of the masked man's voice, the flashing commands of faceless strangers, they had already burrowed inside me, and that night none of us slept. Ethan kept muttering that we were damned just for watching, that even if Lily lived or died, we were part of her torment because viewership was complicity, and for days afterward I felt like the shadows in my room were watching me. Like the red room never ended. Like maybe once you enter it you never leave. Months have passed and still I dream of it. Still I hear the humming of those fluorescent lights, and sometimes I think I see the masked man's face reflected in mirrors, even though I never saw it clearly, and I wonder if he's watching me now, waiting for me to log back in, to join another session, to pay not with Bitcoin but with my sanity. And maybe this is why I'm writing this. Maybe by confessing it I can release some of the weight, but I also know someone reading this is tempted, curious, wondering if they can find the same link. And if you are, I beg you, don't, because once you see it you'll never unsee it, and the worst part isn't what happens to the victim, the worst part is what happens to you, because the red room doesn't just show torture, it plants it inside your psychology, makes you question if you're any better than the monsters bidding in the chat. So if you value your mind, your soul, your humanity, stay away, and if the story haunted you even a little, then do one thing for me. Like this, share it, subscribe, because maybe the only way to fight the spread of the red room is to spread the warning louder, to remind people that curiosity has a cost, and sometimes that cost is everything you are.